This is a perfect example of poor golf instruction. The gentleman on the left hand side of the screen, the comments were all about the width of his stance and how the width of his stance was close to the width of his shoulders. Anybody that knows anything about stance width knows that it's really a function of the length of the right leg or the trail leg from the knee to the ankle, because in order to finish in balance you have to be able to release your right leg and foot correctly so that you have a vertical line from your right shoulder down through your right hip and right knee when you're also standing tall and vertical on the left leg. Now, no comment was made about the fact that there's no line here, no line available from the shaft and the left arm. So that's something that should be definitely taken into account at this point. I'm going to try and draw a line for you here. Okay, there's the shaft. There's another line. There's the arm. Ideally, those should be in a straight line. If he sets up in that position with the club face square and returns to a good impact position where the left arm and the shaft are in line, then the face will automatically be open and the ball will go to the right. The other item here that should be talked about is the left foot. The feet are way too square. This left foot needs to flare out a little bit more in order to give him the range of motion to be able to turn to the finish. Even if he is as flexible as a 13-year-old gymnast, he's not going to be able to turn all the way through without rolling out on that ankle or failing to be able to transfer his weight. Next issue here is that the spine is way too vertical here. He has to be able to create a tilted axis to rotate around in order to be able to correctly absorb the momentum as he goes through the swing. So all the comments were about this static position, nothing about motion. Now moving over to the right hand side of the screen.
Good progress tonight, mate. As always,
you can hear all the comments
here. Your one on the left was the slight improvement in your stance width. As we can see there, you can sort of see how, now I can clear myself, that your feet are roughly shoulders width apart now. And I don't know how it would feel to you. I think that you sort of mentioned how it felt that they were a lot wider than that. It's always good to see the reality of where they are, which is just slightly shoulder width there. Ball slightly ahead of centre as well, which is good. Driver swing now.
As we said, shoulder width apart is irrelevant. It may be that if the width of the shoulders matches the stance width relative to the length of the leg, then that may be fine. But if you get an individual with wide shoulders and short legs, then you're going to be completely off. So now we're going to listen to what he has to say about the driver.
On the right hand side, what we'll see is, I'll make the two swings go, you can sort of have a look in your own time now. If you have a look at this driver swing, it impacts. Okay, what we're
So what he's going to talk about is impact, and he's going to talk about where the club head is at impact and it being too far off the ground. Well, that's all very well, but let's go back and let's take a look at, first of all, if we look at the person's spine angle here, and we'll put another line here just relative to the front of the head so we can see what happens to his head. Also, we'll put another line on top, I think, so we can get a really good picture of what goes on in this swing. So now here we go. So now we're going to run it forward, and what we're going to see is that his head goes down 5 or 6 inches and also goes forward. We've now got a severe tilt of the spine. We can't even see the club, so goodness knows how flat and behind him that is. And so as he's swinging through, then the head is trying valiantly to get back into a position where he might be able to make contact with the ball. So no wonder the club's in a strange position there. What we're also going to see, and this goes back to the left foot position issue, is that as he goes through here, he's rolled up onto the outside of his foot. You can just see the left toe poking through there. The toes are off the ground. And even though he's released the club nicely around his body, what we see right after this is that he actually has to let go. I think we see this somewhere. After he does it again, it comes all the way through, and he goes up there into the finish, and you can see there he's letting go with the right hand, probably to try and maintain balance. So really, this is just a perfect example of a golf lesson that is just absolute nonsense. And so pity the poor guy that paid good money for this lesson.